Hey, good morning there, boys and girls. It's me. I'm listening to it rain. It's about 6:30. I've been up since 3. I don't know. Can't sleep. Well, I went to bed early. I went to bed about 9. I fell asleep. So, I don't know. Rain, rain, rain. It just dried out pretty good. And it's, I don't know. We're getting the deluge out here. I guess out east they're getting it even worse. Nor'easter, first nor'easter of the season. I guess it's a remnant of that last stupid hurricane. But anyway, so we're getting drenched. We're supposed to get like 3 inches of rain between today and tomorrow. So I don't know. I got some stuff I could probably do down there. I'd go down and cut a bunch. I got well, it isn't really flat, but semi-flat area I could work. I'm actually probably going to have to pull out of that job. We just bought another piece there, king piece. Luckily, we didn't have to put a big chunk of money down. We're doing it on percentage, so it didn't come out of the credit line piggy bank, you know what I mean? I don't have to pay interest on it. But the state, now the township gave me a hard time about bonding down over that. I had to go down over that mountain instead of one of their junky tar and chip roads. I mean, it's a terrible road, and we would have broke it up. So I understand. So we did a lot of work. We hauled a lot of stone down there. They actually been good to work with. They didn't know me from Adam, so they didn't trust me. They thought I might screw them out of something or wreck something and not fix it. But I'm getting to a good working relationship with them. I donated my dozer for a day. I told them I'd help money any way I can. I don't want to be, the neighborhood terrorist. I'm trying to do my job. You know what I mean? So, and I don't want to bust the roads up for the local folks and not fix them either. But, within reason, right? I'll do my part, but I'm not going to build everybody a new road. But anyway, so I've been working with them with the stone, the dozer. We opened up a beautiful stone pit, and we've been getting stone. I actually brought my old single axle slight truck down there, so we'll probably do some more of that. But I just got word from the insurance company that bonded the road, or the agent for that company, and they said that the state where we're going down the mountain onto the tar and chip road down at the bottom, it's called Sarah Furnace Road. They are all worried about damage on that. They wanted me to go out a much better way, but they had a bridge out. They were doing a bridge this summer. It took all summer. So they wanted me to go out that particular way, which would have been better for me, but I would have had to bond this township road to do that, and the one that they didn't want me to do. So it's just been a nightmare in here. I can't win no matter which way I turn. But anyway, we got everything ready. We're working in there. We're blah, blah. We've been in there for a couple months, a month and a half, whatever. We're doing our thing, going along. Well, now I get notice from that the state wants to pull the bond and get us off of that road, probably for the winter. I think we could go back on it next summer after the frost law season, after the spring breakup, like April 1st or April 15th. So, all right, now I'm going down there, and I don't know what's going to happen. I guess I got to pull out of there and go. So I got other stuff to do. I got a bunch of stuff contracted up. But anyway, I wanted to do this little video. Mammy's up visiting the grandbaby, so I'm bacheloring it for a few days. She's coming back tomorrow. I miss her. What do you smell, boo-boo? A mouse? We've had field mice trying to get in this house. It's terrible. So I've got a couple traps out and whatever. They're just a pain in the ass. And Boo Boo smells them and he goes nuts. You want to go out? Want to go out, go pee-pee, buddy? Come on. I'll be right back. Come on, pee-pee time. Go ahead, buddy. Alright. He'll go out and do his thing. So anyway, have a swig of coffee. See what I drink out of when mommy's away so I don't have to do dishes. My styrofoam cup. Okay, anyway, I wanted to do this video. I got a video I want to put up. I was debating on whether to put up because I'm kind of pissy in it. Whatever. It's just me. You know how you get. Well, you know how I get. You guys seen enough of my videos. I get pretty indignant about stupidity. And this video, I'm trying to put my thoughts in order. This video shows my frustration. I went and looked at a block right next, another piece on up the river hill from where we're working. And Jim, the guy buys timber for us, he came to me and said, oh, you know, I think I can buy this piece for like $60,000. That's what they want for it, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, let's go look at it. Okay, so we go and look at it. And it's like, you know, I was busting his ass because I'm like, what are you smoking, dude? I mean, there's a lot of material on it, but it's all junk. It's like birch, beech. Now, in certain parts of the country, birch is worth money. If you get the particular right log here, you can get a little money out of black birch. But the problem is the heart is too big in it. It grows nice and straight and tall and all that, but it doesn't grow nice. It's got a big heart in it. And if a heart is over 30% of the tree, in other words, if you cut like a 30-inch tree and there's, you know, 10% of that is a dark heart, they won't buy it for like a ply log or a veneer log or anything like that. It's not good enough for them. So then it kicks it down into a saw log category, and it just doesn't pay anything. It's like blocking. You know, you log it off of these monstrosity hills. Same with beech. This leads me into another thing. Digby Odell commented on one of my how you doing, Digby? Thanks for commenting. But he commented on one of my videos about why the hatred, the vendetta against beech. Well, simply because beech and birch are shade tolerant trees. They're just not worth anything. They're great blocking. You know, they're great to work with. They make heavy blocking or scrag. So I don't mind cutting it and harvesting this stuff. I have no problem with that. Problem is I can't pay anything for very little for it. You know, the equivalent of maybe $50 a thousand or $60 a thousand is all you can pay. And now you take into consideration that you're harvesting it off a cliff, which slows your production down dramatically, you know, where you could maybe do 6, 8, 10 loads in a day, and now you're down to 4, you know, or 5. I mean, you just can't pay much for this crap. But all that being said, it needs to be cut out of the way, because oak and cherry, which are the valuable species around here, and hard maple. Maple is kind of semi-shade tolerant. Maple will do a little better, but oak and cherry, which are the two big crops, the big money crops, need direct sunlight. They will not grow in the shade. They'll grow, but you could get a sapling that's 6 inches tall, and it might be a couple of years old and all stunted and crooked and trying to find light. It just doesn't grow, and then the deer come along and eat it. So you need to get cherry and oak to regen. You need to open it up, get the canopy, get the overstory out of the way. All right, so this is what I run into with these properties. I'm going to try and make this as brief as I can, and maybe you'll share my frustration. All right, I don't even have a high school education. I dropped out of school in the 10th grade to go do this. Okay, what I've learned is through hard knocks and seeing the results. Okay, of what's been going on. I've been doing this almost 40 years. Actually, 40 years, but like a year and a half shy of that commercially, because I was young. You know, I was under 16. I was selling firewood, working in the woods. So in my experience, I see results. Nobody's going to convince me that I'm not seeing results. Well, what happens with this stuff is a lot of the foresters around here made buku money, especially back in the 80s and 90s when the prices were high on timber. They would go in and they would do what's called high grading. It's not forestry, it's just high grading. Anybody can do it. Okay, you go in, you mark all the big trees. So you mark a tree that's worth, you know, $500 or $600 on the stump, big cherry and big red oak, right? And if you're a forester doing percentage work, let's just say you work 10%. Usually most of them are between 10 and 12, 15%. But let's just go with the low ball 10%. So do the math. You mark a tree, right, that's worth $500 or $1,000 on the stump, okay? You just made, you know, $50 to $100 for putting a paint mark across the tree, banding it with paint, spraying the stump, and running a tape around it and measuring it, or a stick, a Biltmore stick. Literally, you know, you might stand there at that stump for a minute, 2 minutes, and you just made $100. Okay? Well, and then, you know, there's more to it. You go home and you categorize it, and you put your prospectus sheet out, and you got to mail it. But I mean, it's trivial. It's nothing like what the logger has to do. The logger has to go buy $1 million worth of freaking iron to get it, to harvest the tree. And if you're subcontracting, you probably don't make 10% of the harvest, you know? I mean, if you buy it yourself, you might do a little better, but you still probably, you know, I do a lot of 50-50 stuff, but by the time you take the actual cost of logging it out, and the cost of trucking it out, the cost of handling it, the cost, by the time you buy roads and build this and that, and do, you know, I mean, it's, so these foresters have had a good gig. Not knocking that. That's fine. The problem is, they would never do what needed to be done and cut the low grade out of it. They would leave it. Hence the old wink, wink, nod, nod. Hey, we left you some trees. Like, it's a bad thing to clear cut it. You know, I'm the bad guy. I'm just coming in and correcting what was done wrong. These trees, when you keep taking the best of the best out of your forest, right, and never cut the junk, what do you expect's going to happen? And remember now, beech and birch are shade tolerant. They'll grow in the shade of the oaks, okay? Now you cut the oak out of the way, and the poor oaks and cherries, the valuable species, need full sunlight, and you leave all this junk. What do you expect? You really think you're going to get oak to regenerate and cherry to regenerate? It's insanity. I mean, a little baby can understand this. Now, you can't tell me that an educated forester doesn't know better, okay? Well, what was told to me on this piece that I just went and looked at, that, well, because they see what we're cutting on the other piece, that we're flattening it because it needs to be flattened. Well, you got to leave her some trees. And this guy's into forestry. I won't mention, I don't know him. He's probably a nice guy. But it's like, all right, why would I deliberately leave junk that's going to inhibit my cash crop, or not my cash crop, the landowner's and his or her heirs' cash crop, for the sake of what? Leaving some junk trees around? The whole thing is, it's almost like, well, don't tell them that you need to clear cut it because I effed it up in the first place. That's what it makes me, I get really resentful. You know, it's like, you know better than this. You know, you look at all the state forests around here and the game lands and stuff. They'll go in and they'll maybe do a select cut. What's a select cut? You know, pulling out the grade, this and that. They'll do that once, twice, but there becomes a point. You do that and you do not harvest out your junk with it. You have to hit the reset button, whack it all, and let it all come back. Now, if you're really serious about forestry maintenance and converting this to a valuable stand for your heirs. Now, if somebody's my age and they whack their timber, or 60 or 70 or 80, they whack it, they're not going to see the benefit of it. But if they're going to leave this to heirs or family, it's in everybody's interest to cash it, get every dime you can out of it now. Okay, yes, leave a few wildlife trees. I'm not talking about, you know, I don't want to kill all the animals. No, we leave wildlife trees. They're hollow. You leave some of them. You leave a few little crop trees here and there. If you got some nice, clean little genetics, leave that. Okay, and that's your next, those will seed. And then sunlight will do its thing. So it's in everybody's best interest to do that. And for some reason, it's like taboo. People are figuring it out, but I don't understand why the persona, oh, leave some trees. Why? When you harvest your corn, do you leave corn? No, you harvest your corn and then you get ready for the next crop. It's the same thing. It's just a 50-year cycle. So my point being is, if you've got only a few trees per acre that are viable trees to grow, it's called basal area, what's left when you harvest. If you only have, 5, 6, 8 trees per acre that are decent enough to make another crop of timber, what's the point? Why not harvest them now, even though you're taking a little loss on them right now, but you're starting a new forest, and you're not going to go in and smash it all down to get those other 10 trees per acre in 15 years. That's my point. It depends on the basal area, right? Now, when a piece comes back in after it's been clear cut or final cut or overstory removal is the politically correct way to say it, because clear cut's a bad word. Okay, then if you're really serious about this, what you should do is about 5 years, okay, hire somebody like me, like us, like a logging company or whatever. You can do it yourself. Get yourself a little circular saw, like one of them weed whacker doodads with the saw head on it, the little circular saw. Okay, go in the woods and zing undesirables out. Well, they're little poles. You know what I mean? Cut your quake, cut your birch, cut your beech. You can leave a few oddballs for wildlife, the juneberry and stuff like that, which are hackberry that birds like them. You can leave some of that. That's fine. But get rid of this stuff, or at least most of it. You can leave a few here and there. But get rid of this stuff and leave the oak, the cherry, and the maple. Now you've given it another advantage, okay? And if it's undesirable maple, if it's bent over, if it's broke, cut it. If it's undesirable, all right, you get my drift. You go in and weed it out. Now maybe on a 100-acre piece, it might cost you, I don't know, it might cost you a couple $1,000s to have a guy come in for a week with a little saw, a little chainsaw, or a trimming saw and do this. But I'll tell you what, it's well worth it. I mean, you could have a crop of timber worth $500,000 in 50, 60 years, or $1 million, depending if you. So what my point is with all of this, and to get back to the beech, okay, beech, pine, just all these birch, all these off species, okay, they're hogging up your growing ground, basically your farm crop, your field, right? Look at it like it would be a field that you're going to plant in. Same type of a scenario, but they're hogging up all your resources, right? Your water, your sunshine, your minerals, the soil, and all this, right? And then again, the oak won't grow under their shade, okay? So this stuff is worth, in our area, Doyle scale. Doyle is what we measure the logs with, standing or process. You measure small into your log, Doyle scale. All right, this stuff is worth maybe 50 cents a thousand, okay? So that would be a nickel a board foot, okay? That's how timber is measured, It's like a gallon of water or, a pound of sugar. I mean, timber is measured per board foot, standing or finished, whatever. Okay, so this low-grade stuff is worth, even if you want to say 50 to 75 with inflation 50 years down the road, let's say, whatever. Okay, so say 50 cents per board foot, okay? Oak and not 50 cents, 5 cents. $50 per thousand. So you take that and divide it 1,000. That's 5 cents per board foot, which is nothing. I mean, it don't pay the freight. Grade logs, oak, cherry, quality maples. The ash is about gone. I think we'll see it again. We're seeing some green saplings, so that's good. But the borer has really done a number on it. But okay, so these quality hardwoods, they'll average top quality. I mean, I've seen red oak and go for around here $700 a thousand on a stump. That's 70 cents a board foot. Cherry, a rule of thumb around here was always, oh, it's dolly a foot, dolly a foot, dolly a foot. Okay, so that's $1 a foot. Black cherry, $1 a foot, not 5 cents. $1 a foot. White oak. White oak's been doing with this barrel stave market $700 a thousand on the stump. That's 60 to 70 cents per board foot. Again, opposing 5 cents a board foot. So the money difference, Digby, is astronomical in the future. Okay? Well, even the near future. But for the next crop, for the next generation of trees, I mean, a family could go broke just paying taxes. I don't think this low-grade junk would even grow enough to keep their property taxes current, okay? Or we could utilize the space and groom a forest that could literally be $1 million forest, you know, as opposed to a $25,000 or $50,000 forest. When it comes down to it, and I know everybody, oh, the almighty buck. Well, sorry, that's what runs things. And, you know, why not utilize your ground for something that's going to be a gain for your family and your heirs, and leave that, you know, for your heirs to make money with. I don't understand how anybody could be confused about this. But like I said, I'm trying, this is one of the reasons I started this channel, to just have chats like this. And I know I don't do a whole lot of it, but I just wanted to share that with everybody. And I'm into comments and questions. And, you know, I'm not saying every piece needs to be clear cut. No, I'm not saying that. Although I am saying chances are sooner or later every piece will need final cut or clear cut and let it start over. That's my point. You can't pull, you know, 2 or 3 growings or 2 or 3 cuttings of grade out. You can, and leave all the shit. But you can't do that and expect that the shit doesn't take over. I mean, it's just science. You know what I mean? It's like your garden. You pull all your vegetables and never pull weeds. You can do that for a while, but then you're going to run out of vegetables and the weeds are going to take over. So that's my point. Didn't mean to be long-winded, but anyway, I'll put these together, or I probably won't put them together because it's so long. I'll just make 2 videos. So you guys, you'll see my little rant. I'm walking through the woods. My battery ran out, so it ended kind of abruptly. But I wanted to, I wasn't going to put it up, and I thought, you know what, I should, because it's an interesting topic, and I get a lot of questions. I get a lot of, oh, why did you cut that so hard? Well, because I need to cut it that hard. Nobody with the cable skidder and by hand is going to cut all the garbage out of the way. They don't want to. They can't do enough volume to make it worthwhile. So you know, I kind of feel like I'm kind of the best damn thing to come along if you're a landowner and you got a whole bunch of crap to cut. No, fine. Cut the last harvest of logs. That's where your money is. But you know what? Cut the junk too, because it needs to. And it's going to look hard. It's going to look open. Although, you know, I think our jobs look good because, you know, we utilize it down to nothing. And you know, the brush is all down to nothing and it dissipates quick. A few years, it's all rotten down. You can still hunt it. You can still walk through it. We clear the roads all off and water bar them and stuff. So, you know, as far as a clear cut goes, or a final harvest, I think we do a good job on them. So anyway, that's all I'm getting at. But I wanted to get that out there. So, all right, I got to get going. I don't know. I'm going to go over to the garage. It's 7 o'clock. Go do something. Work on stuff. So, but good talking to you guys. Keep old Steve and Mike in your prayers and everybody, and just have a good weekend. I'm going to go karaokeing tonight. Maybe I'll get a vid, huh? All right, ta-ta, guys.